Just gonna film a few bits in the beginning, soak it, and then find a point to cut it off.
Okay. Okay, I hope we're both in frame.
Guys,
Yeah.
are we both in frame?
Let me check.
You are absolutely in frame.
Yeah. My shoulders and everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
You on the shoulder.
I don't want to have my arm to move.
Good.
Okay. Is it going? The timer is
It's
going?
recording.
Okay. Hi! Welcome to Nigeria Study. It's Juliet Muli and we're here for part 2 of our Mjadala sessions with Salma Bello from Nigeria, who lives in the UK. So, quick recap for part 1. If you've not watched it, please go watch it. And it's just her talking about experiences growing up in Nigeria, how she came about choosing her profession, which is engineering. So, we left off when you've got your job now in England, and that's where we met. Is there anything you had been doing prior to that, like in the interim break as you wait to go into work? And also, if you could slowly start explaining your experiences in your like early first year or so in the grad scheme and all that.
Yeah, sure. So, before I joined our company, I don't know if we're allowed to say the
No,
name.
just say our company.
Yeah, one of the big energy
Your
companies
former company?
yeah, my former company.
Traitor.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So before I joined, while I was doing my final year in university, I went back to Nigeria one summer, and I was a bit frustrated that you can't just like walk into the store. That at the time, anyways, you can't just walk into the store. Like whenever I'm going back to Nigeria, I have to buy every single thing I need, like clothes. I can't just like walk into the store and pick up like a blazer or something that something
clothes. Chic.
Yeah. And then like one of my other friends was planning to go back to Nigeria to start like a fashion store or something. And I just thought to myself, like, why would we, like, what's the point of having a proper store? You have to pay for rent, this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
Let's have an online store. And at this time,
by then,
it wasn't anything.
Like
even like all these big guys,
Yeah.
Jumia, all these big people in Nigeria, they were like, online wasn't that big.
Yeah.
And we decided, I was like, oh, why don't we do this online? We don't have to pay for rent. We just do it from the house, send the stuff. And I was going to be here working, and she was going to be in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So we could I would buy the stuff,
send
it to her, and she sells it. Put it online, sell it. That's it. I thought, easy.
Yeah.
You think?
On paper.
Yeah, it sounded easy. And then there was another of my friends, so there was 3 of us, started it out. It was really good. Starts working, and I was doing that alongside undergraduate scheme. And did that for about 3 years. So so it started in 2011. I left in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. 14 or 15. So 3 to 4 years. I did that with my friend.
Stroke business
partner. But yeah, I mean, things change. I think we probably as a first business, which is not like, it doesn't stop me because I'm still going to do business. That's one of the big things I want to do as a career. But that kind of evolved, and we all grew apart. We had different vision, different times in life. Work I was getting more involved and a lot more intense at work, and so that I made the decision to leave.
But the entity is still continuing?
Yes, well, I think it's still, my partner wants to continue, but I think she's
slowed
also
down a bit.
slowed down a bit.
Alright, so that's really, look at you. Hey, fashion mogul, engineer. Anyway, but that's really good. So if you see an opportunity, it doesn't mean you have to be somewhere physically. You can partner with friends. Sometimes as well, when you're here, you see some things evolving here that you can also export back home and help someone with an idea. And you're involved as well, so it's quite mutually beneficial.
And I think for me, the big thing is why I wasn't so bothered or so sad that I had to leave was by the time I decided I wanted to leave, there were
Yeah.
so many, like,
Okay.
you know, the industry had grown. So
Yeah,
for me, it
yeah.
was kind of like, well, it's now there. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I wanted. I wanted to plug the gap. And if
Yeah.
there are so many people doing that now, then
Yeah, and you're not
I'm
finding
fine.
your niche or
Yeah.
where to scale up, then
Yeah. It's
you've
fine.
already eaten from it,
Yeah, yeah,
as it were.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
cool,
yeah, it's
son.
good.
So, back to the proper job.
Yeah,
How was it? How did you find the
So,
grad scheme? Well, I know part of it, but
Yeah, well, as you know, on our graduate scheme, we had to do a lot of traveling to
Yeah.
different parts of the country and learning about how the business works and how
Yeah.
engineering is all
Real life.
is in real life, which
Yeah.
is very different to what you learn at school.
mathematics.
Yeah, which was very good, and
Yeah.
then you end up at the end of the 12 months, you settle down into a proper full-time job where you know you're providing advice to people older than you,
Mhm.
younger than you,
Yeah.
you know, much more experienced than you are, and
Yeah.
there's that.
In this new environment as well, with your
Yeah.
accent, different accent.
And you know, you're in a place where you're the only black female, the
Mm.
only black person, the only black female
Mm.
in that whole, you know, in
Yeah, we work in energy, so in a power station.
a power station where
Yeah.
there's like almost 600 people.
Yeah, yeah.
And you kind of have to work without that coming in your mind, because
Yeah.
it's not the thing that it's not so pronounced in university, because
Yeah.
university
You get so
especially a
much
lot of
diversity,
universities,
yeah.
it's not as pronounced, but when you go into the working
Mm.
work setting,
Yeah.
then things start to change, especially in our industry, in our careers. So spend some time at power station, and then after that moved to the engineering office where Juliet had already started.
Yeah, a year prior, or 16
summer,
months or something like that. Yeah.
And then I think
So I work in the central technical office. So she was working one power station, and I worked in a particular section. And central technical office basically gives advice to the fleet, the different stations. So there's a bit more remit to it than like quick
Just
day-to-day operational changes which you had to deal with. So it's a different
it's
working
very
environment
different,
as well.
Yeah, so coming to the office, I started to I started to grow a bit more passionate about things like reaching out to schools and trying to help the Black, Asian, ethnic minority community within the company, because the profile is very skewed. Like, people at the top do not reflect the people, you know, that are working. And also, you know, there were so many schools, there are opportunities to kind of reach out and touch more lives, like and
give
inspire
back.
people,
It's like giving back,
and you know, remembering how
you are struggling to find out. You're being told
decide
doctor, but
what I
you're
want
not
to do,
sure.
and getting that experience. So we started to get involved, that's Julia and I, in a lot of work
School
in that
outreach,
sector, and that kind of grew really big.
And it was on top of the day job. So the day job is then your main focus, and then there's this extra bit which we spend a lot of even our own time. You know, think about discussing what ways can we reach the school, what little projects, and not just us, but a group of us, and that in itself is another part of working life. It's finding your niche, finding something that you liked. We also did football together. We formed I started I started this football thing for girls, 5-a-side, and it helped us network a bit more. And sometimes they say it's like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. It's how much your reach and your face is being seen around, especially a big organization. The Central Technical Office has like 3,000 people. It's a lot of people. You could go in and, you know, only your group knows you because it's that big. And so we were just finding our feet around the area, finding friends even outside in like our kind of competitors, but we could play football with them and just have a laugh and go for a drink or a meal and just expand our networks. And doing the giving back thing was really satisfying. It really added the extra satisfaction because engineering itself is quite interesting. It's quite teamwork oriented, isn't it?
There's a lot of teamwork, and putting the heads together, and you know, I mean, you're a mechanical engineer, I'm a chemical engineer, and, you know, there are two different
views
aspects of engineering, so doing all of that kind of, for I think around the same time we kind of sparked in our head that we're doing all this here, how are we gonna, and we both want to go back, you know,
Yeah.
to our home countries and
Make a
help
difference,
contribute
yeah.
to the development of it. And we just thought, why don't we, how can we take this back? What can we do to help people that probably need it more
Yeah.
than even, you know, people that we were doing it for here. Not that, you know, it
there's
should
anything
matter,
wrong, because we're
really.
in this society. It's also part of our remit to
and
give
to
back
contribute.
to it as well. Yeah.
So that's how Ajira Study came about with Julia. And for me, I'm in the pipelines developing some sort of organization that can partner with businesses, because a lot of businesses in Nigeria, I don't want to speak for Africa, but you know, it's all about making the money and that's it. Like doing other things for the community is not really a part of it. I know it's starting to be a big thing, CSR and all of that. Even small businesses.
Even small businesses don't involve. You get the big brands, like our big
the big
telecoms
ones too,
brands have like you know, an education outreach, all that kind of stuff. But the medium and small businesses don't really think about CSR. It's not. Nobody cares about their profile. Like they've been voted best company for this. Forget that.
Yeah. So thinking about doing something along those lines where we can get, you know, those kind of companies fund. Maybe educational outreach programs or focusing on energy. There are different sectors we're thinking of touching.
And it's it goes with the SDG goals. I can imagine.
Yeah, exactly. That it came from that as well.
Yeah, and
actually,
we were discussing
like,
as well.
trying to map the sectors we want to help with the SDGs to help contribute. Like you know, doing your part. Really.
And I think something as well, we talked to a friend yesterday, it's about the youth owning the SDGs. So by the time the people who are in their mid-20s are in 2030, and I think that's when the goals are for, the global goals, will be in decision-making positions, hopefully. And if you've owned these goals up to then you've contributed, even in your small ways, in your village, in your church environment, then as you build up that capacity, you're in that conscious sense of trying to make the difference, and in specific areas which they've identified and they're quite clear. Sometimes it's good to see them as, you know, clear set goals, so that you're not too jumbled, like the world is so hard. So at least you can pick one area. For me, it's energy, you know, quality education for all children, and like gender equality a little bit. You know, you can focus, so you can all find your niche and where you can give back, isn't it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, for me, I'm passionate about energy, like Julia, and education, and for me, the main thing as well is empowerment in terms of making sure people, like, about sustainability. That's one of the big things for me. So I don't want I don't believe in just like giving someone money. I feel like what's more valuable is giving someone that opportunity or the power to do something that can allow them sustain,
even for them to even think the idea, you know. So give them the tools and you know, take them through that coaching mentality of okay, so in your village there's no walkway here, okay, there's stones there, can you find some 2 young men who are strong? Okay, so can we sort of collect some £2 from everybody and make the road?
And do something,
You get, it's like walking them through, not just saying I'll wait for my MP or a week. They too need to be held accountable, but taking things in your own hands and finding that opportunity, and even within that might be some livelihood to be gained.
Totally.
Changing and thinking into problem solving, and I think we think that way a lot because we're engineers. It's all about being logical, and finding you know a way through problems. Doesn't have to be machines. It can just be life in general. So.
So that's for me is very important, and that's what I want to take back home when I'm ready to move back. Take that and help people, because it's a ripple effect as well. You know, if you allow someone, if you give someone the means or help them with their ideas, they can employ people, you know, and that's like more people, and then it goes and it grows and it grows, and hopefully they also see the value in mentoring and helping, and then it spreads, and before you know it,
it's like passing it forward. It's like one seed, it then grows and then grows. You know, like for us, we've had mentors who've planted seeds in us. And some of these things I will then transmit through Ajira study, and then it'll help someone who will help someone. So it's like one person doing a good deed, and it's multiplies, and it's really good.
And I like the I like the fact that you mentioned our mentors, because there are a lot of things and a lot of decisions I've made in my career that were fueled by my mentors, in the sense that not that they've said, oh, you must do this. There are things that in your mind, but they haven't been very clear, and you're not sure how to do it, and they can see it because they're looking at it from the outside, and they care about you and they want to push you, so they're like, oh, how about you do this? For example, one of our common mentors, so there was this new department came about in the previous employer, and the head of the department is a woman, and I was like, oh, I just want to talk to her about, you know, what's her business, the area of the business about. And he was like, well, let's make a list of things you should do. Talk to her about this, talk to her about that, and ask her to be a mentor. And I was like, I don't know if she will, like, I can't just go and ask her. And then I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I went there, and she was like, oh yeah, of course not, you know, like even before I even asked, I was like, oh, so I'd like to talk to you about again, and she was like, oh yeah, we can make it a regular thing, you know. And like I was like, okay.
I didn't even expect it, like, but they just push you that little bit.
It was like the golden,
out of your comfort zone. The number of times I've been told, okay, so go research about this, you might want to talk to so and so, and that person is like 5 levels above your pay rank, and you're like, before I come next to see him, he'll ask me, you know, whether you've gone to see that person. And so you just find your way through this, so they plant seeds. So always try and get mentors. Also know who you're associating with as well, and having common goals. So because definitely we've found a lot, you know, bouncing off each other, some of these ideas in their raw form in our heads. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
In your future endeavors. She did move jobs. She's somewhere else.
I've moved to consulting. So why have I moved to consulting? I've always wanted to make an impact from like the top and look at things. I like to look at things in a broader view and strategic thinking. And in engineering, you're kind of focused on this particular area, and so I want to kind of get that experience thinking very differently to how I normally think as an engineer, and see how I can combine like my engineering experience and my experience in consulting and make the most out of it. So it doesn't mean I wouldn't come back to engineering, you know. I might come back with a different
there's also strategic engineering roles, well, within the engineering company or the energy industry. As you move up, it becomes more strategic.
So that's the major driver for the goal. So. The move.
And she lives far away in London. We'll probably do another video and she'll show us London. It'll be a travel vlog this time.
We'll see.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining the vlog today, or Mjadala sessions. Please guys, comment below on, you know, any comments about what she said, you know, any suggestions, any questions, and we'll see about giving the right response to you, and just participate in the conversation. Once again, it's been Ajira Sadi Mjadala Sessions, and see you later.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.